a representative, we'll call him a host for Mad Cucks, or for Madcast Media. I get the two mixed up all the time now. I can't even say Maddox anymore. I just say Mad Cucks. Called Denzel the N-word. Not as a joke, not in any way to be funny, not even attempting to be funny. Just to be mean. And it really pissed me off because that's what happens to people who try to get involved in this show. Maddox and Rucka and all the assholes involved with Madcast Media just try to spoil the good time so that they no longer want to be a part of the show. And that's how the real world works. Like, you threaten and harass people enough, and they don't want to do it anymore. Tim Chang doesn't want to do this show because of that kind of shit. Robin Higgins, who's very funny, just doesn't want to be involved in the drama. It's like, well, yeah, I understand, because when you got little assholes chirping at you at the behest of Maddox, and supported by, in my opinion, Rucka supports all of it because he has a bigger social reach than Maddox. And I think the only reason Rucka is on that show is to support that dying show. Like, if it was just Maddox, the best debate show, or whatever stupid name he's calling it, would be over overnight. Because that guy is personality poison. Like, Maddox is as interesting in person and on the radio as a fucking foot. He sits in his house playing video games all day with a circle of toads around him, like Mike Gams, Brian Cooperman, all these fucking pricks that are just getting told yes all day. There is nothing interesting that except that show, the best debate. And I'll tell you this, when the biggest problem ended, part of me was relieved that it ended before people realized the premise of the show is a normal guy making fun of someone who has developmental disabilities. Like, that's the biggest debate show, is Rucka, who is a normal guy, making fun of Maddox, who has, I think, mental disabilities. Like, I'm not going to say he's retarded, but I think tests are made that he would fail and that they would identify what's wrong with him. That's what I'm saying. And that's the show. And at some point, when enough people realize that that's the premise of the show, it's going to not be fun anymore. Like, it's fun when it's two regular guys busting chops, but then it's like I forget what season of the Celebrity Apprentice it was, but at some point, I think everybody, Trump included, realized that Gary Busey's had something wrong with his brain.
Oh, he does.
Of that. Yeah, and it was funny.
He was weird before the motorcycle crash.
But he was weird in like a funny way. And then he crashed his motorcycle, and you could see that like a piece of his brain that made it work was removed.
Yeah.
And people making fun of him is like, it's not funny anymore.
But I think he's aware that he's not,
But it's still not funny.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of at the point where he got kicked off the show. It's like, oh, we can't be, like, people can't be dogpiling on somebody who has mental problems.
A few moments later.
I blame these fucking guys for creating an environment where this happens. It really fucking pisses me off. They did the same thing to Asterios. They keep hitting people in a way that you can't hit back.
Well,
it drives me fucking crazy. Go ahead.
Most normal people, you've brought this up before. See, I never worry about you because, like you said, you're built for this.
Yeah.
You have been this way ever since I've known you.
Yeah.
And most people are not. So when people get hit over and over and over again, everybody's like, "Well, I got my fucking regular life to deal with. I got my day job. I got this. It's only detracting from my life. I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to deal with it because it's all negative and there really isn't any positive.
That's
anymore.
what bugs me about Denzel, because he's like a real nice fucking guy.
Oh,
he's
Denzel's
a friend
great.
of mine. He comes all the way from San Diego to do the show. He writes scripts. Like, I want it to be fun. I don't want Madcast Media treating him like shit. And people for some fucking reason, there is a debate over the role of the N-word in all this. And my whole point is the word doesn't matter. It's totally irrelevant. It's that someone tried to hurt him using that word. That's the fucking point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not magic what happened. It's not difficult to understand. It's just that a massive line was crossed. And I think it's fucking bullshit. And especially the way Maddox defends it is saying, well, it was for publicity and I'm sorry that you got roped into it. But this is all in private, of course. Fucking nothing happens in public. Because nobody wants to, because it's the fucking dog whistle thing. Like, right, Maddox already looks like the biggest pussy on the internet. To come out and say, and actually take a stand for saying, look, this is fucking wrong and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I created an environment where this is okay. And Rucka's just as fucking guilty for keeping that show one C hair out of the dumpster fire. If there's one benefactor who's keeping that fucking podcast and that complete joke of a network out of total insolvency, it's Rucka's social profile, so he's fucking guilty. But, as I said before...
Well, the publicity thing, though.
What about it?
They said it was for publicity. Of course, I show
up.
Oh,
that's Maddox's explanation. Well, I don't want to get into it because I don't,
But publicity, though, to me, just hearing that just now would indicate that Denzel was in on it. If you're doing something for publicity,
I
assume he was not.
Of course not. It's some fucking asshole on Maddox's network doing it. That's what it is. And it's this crazy concerted effort to try to fuck with me and anybody who's around me. You saw what happened to Asterios. Just because he was going to be on the show, Maddox instantly starts with the bullshit. Oh, he did something he's a bad guy. He's a bad friend. He hurt my fucking woman. He hurt my trade show model. He did something I don't even want to say because it would make you respect him less. He's such a manipulative cocksucker about it. So I thought I would add to a goss tale that I've already told from bonus episode 6. Everybody, Patreons know this, but everybody doesn't know this story.
A few minutes later.
So Don Chaco, who's on the phone, he let me see if I got this right, Don. You heard the exchange. You heard the horrible exchange on Maddox's Madcast Media Network, supported by Maddox and Rucka Ali. You heard the exchange. You questioned Maddox about it on Twitter, and his response, you said, hey, did someone maliciously drop the N-bomb against one of Dick's friends? And you said, I think that your sponsors would want to know what kind of shit they're supporting.
Was this on the podcast?
Or, no. This was on his network, but it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who said it. It was part of the network.
Oh, okay.
It was on his network.
It's on his network. So what was Maddox's immediate response to you saying, hey, dude, did this just happen on your platform? What was his immediate response?
I've got the tweet right in front of me. Okay?
Go ahead, read it.
Yeah, okay. So this is the dickish part of me. I tagged Kendall and Hyde on it. So
it's not dickish.
At Kendall Hyde. Oh boy, did I just see a video of a podcaster you sponsor through the network of Maddox Rules dropping an N-bomb today?
Which you did.
I did.
And what did he say?
He wrote back. Okay, so he wrote back. He goes, hey, at Patreon, user at Real Joel Chaco thinks it's cool to harass people online and go after their livelihood. So he was trying.
Wait, you gotta say it again, but you gotta say it in the voice. You gotta say it in the Mad Cuck's voice.
Oh, I have to do it as Mad Cuck.
Yeah, you have to do it as Mad Cuck.
At Patreon, user at Real Joel Chaco thinks it's cool to harass people online and go after their livelihoods.
Right to mommy and daddy. So
well, that's the thing.
Don Chaco brings up a pretty fucking legitimate complaint. Like, I want to clear something up because I created the term job lynch mob and it's gotten out of control where now it's a job lynch mob if you report like a waitress for doing a bad job. It's like, no, that's her fucking job. A job. Let me be as clear as fucking mud here. A job lynch mob is when you have an offensive opinion that people try to silence by fucking with your job.
Yeah.
It's you walking around having thoughts and opinions that don't affect anybody. And then people try to silence you by taking your job. A job lynch mob is not telling sponsors that you disagree with the content of their sponsorship. That's called capitalism. A job lynch mob is not responding in kind when someone fucks with you and your friends. Then it's anything fucking goes. The second somebody fucks with you, you cannot respond strong enough because they went from 0 to 1. You can never go 0 to enough to raise the stakes that much. I just want to be fucking clear what a job lynch mob is. It's opinions. Go ahead.
They came after me. So his host is this host on the network who I won't bother mentioning. Him and his
It doesn't matter. It's the
me.
network. It's the fucking network is responsible for this and the people involved.
First of all, if all of a sudden you got a show that you like and let's say there's a show that you don't like, and one of the sponsors is, say, Crest toothpaste, which apparently Asterios resembles, they would end up going after, if you want to go after the show, you go after their sponsors. That's just how it works. And then the show has to refine itself. There's a whole different thing. If I called up the telemarketers that used to hire Maddox and then called them and said, he said bad words to me, fire him. That's a job lynch mob.
It's not remotely the same. It is not. A job lynch mob is if somebody has an opinion. They're walking around thinking, oh, marriage should only be between a man and a woman. Oh, marriage should be man versus man. You don't hurt them for having a fucking opinion. That's the point. It's a fucking opinion. It's not somebody trying to fuck with you. If somebody comes over to your house and writes, "Hey, asshole" on it, do whatever the fuck you want to them. Because do is the most that you can do under the law. That's why the law is there. Get them fight, whatever. Stop at fucking nothing because they fucked with you first. It has nothing to do with silencing opinion. Go ahead.
There's a bit of an epilogue. Okay, so he tagged.
So did Patreon cancel your show?
No.
Because they're good.
First
they
of
might
all,
send porn out to all your subscribers, but they support free speech.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, okay. So my name on Twitter is Joel Chaco, and my name on my podcast, which is called "Here's What I Don't Get," is not it's not associated with the Patreon thing. So when you go to Patreon, it won't show under Joel Chaco. So even if they tagged it, it's like Patreon goes, I have no idea who this person is because they're not going to listen to every single one of my podcast episodes, which everybody else should do. But he went after this. He went after my Patreon because he figured turnabout is fair play. But I didn't drop an N-bomb. Nobody was paying me to drop an N-bomb, and he claimed it was abuse and harass.
That's such a magic word with these fucking people. Abuse and harassment. Dude, I just want to know if both of you parties involved are a fucking sponsor of this, because you should be horrified. That
do you want to make
be
a
your
guess
answer.
about what he did next?